Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. I'm Kirk Davis, I'm the Port Director. We have Jason Katindoy, Tracy Finucci, our attorney, Steve Harum, and Pete Grossgard from staff. Jason, you want to start us off?
Yes, good morning. Attached for our consideration today, Kirk, your consideration today, Port Director, is an amendment to General Tariff Number 1, Item 1301, and Item 1301 is tugboat service. So starting off with the presentation, so the California Harbors Navigation Code grants the port all reasonable and necessary powers to regulate maritime uses within the Port District, including tug services. This authority and responsibility is delegated to the Port Director. The item proposed for language adjustment, again, is General Tariff Number 1, Item 1301, and the new language establishes minimum performance standards for third-party companies providing tug services at the port and clarifies the requirements that tug providers must meet and follow as conditions precedent to operate within the Stockton Port District. Justification for the change is to, again, establish clear performance standards of doing business and of business requirements for tug providers that are necessary to ensure efficient, safe, and environmentally friendly tug operations within the Port District. The recommended changes follows a lengthy and deliberative review of tug industry standards and best practices for ship assist, current and future operational requirements of the port, and current and future market for tug services at the port, and the state of California's commercial harbor craft regulations, among other factors. The minimum performance standards were established by the port following extensive consultation with the San Francisco bar pilots. Upon adoption of the tariff change, Port staff will work closely with all tug providers interested in applying for and receiving an annual usage permit. The hearing was noticed in the Stockton Record on 1/17/2025. That concludes staff report.
Okay, thanks, Jason. We do have some written public comment, and I wanted to open it up to any public comment on the agenda.
After?
What's that?
Would we be able to comment after you go through what's already been submitted, so there's no redundancy, or do we need to go first?
Either way, I can read them. I can read them first. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So we're going to go 2 minutes. I think I'll be able to get through each one in 2 minutes. We'll see. The first one is from Pan Ocean. We, Pan Ocean, are in a long-term contractual agreement with Seaway, tug provider, and they have been providing excellent service without any issues for a long time. We, Pan Ocean, have been highly satisfied with their performance. However, recent possibility of changes in stringent technical and environmental standards, it has become challenging to continue providing the high-quality service that have been delivered thus far. We also believe that these regulations are excessively stringent and will result in a monopoly for tug services in Stockton, with costs inevitably rising for us. In this regard, we kindly request your cooperation in easing these regulations so that Seaway can continue its operations sustainably. We, Pan Ocean, strongly hope to maintain a continuous business partnership with Seaway. We are confident that your cooperation in this matter will strengthen the business relationship between our companies and lead to positive outcomes. And that was from their Operation Coordination Team leader. The next one is from Tocoline USA Limited, who brings the vessel to the Port of Stockton regularly. We are in receipt of the Port of Stockton's revision to General Tariff 1 outlining changes to towage service requirements at the port. We would like to inform the port that these changes will effectively render our current contracted towage provider, Seaway Towing Company, out of business effective March 1st. We are writing to express our concern regarding the proposed policy and would effectively create a monopoly at the Port of Stockton. As a stakeholder in the region and a concerned member of the public, we urge you to reconsider the adoption of this policy due to significant negative impacts it could have on competition, economic diversity, and the long-term health of our local economy. This policy change would stifle competition, limit choices for consumers, and lead to inefficiencies and delays in the port by reducing the overall number of available tugs for vessel movements. By restricting access to the port to a single provider or limiting the scope of operations to one dominant entity, this proposed policy could severely disrupt the balance of competitive forces that currently drives innovation, ensures fair pricing, and promotes the growth of local businesses. The port is a vital asset to the community and region, serving as a key hub for trade, jobs, and commerce. Any policy that hinders competition will likely have far-reaching consequences for the broader economy, undoubtedly leading to higher costs for businesses and fewer options for customers. Higher costs for ship owners get passed on to charters, receivers, and shippers via increased ocean freight rates, and ultimately the final consumer of the products moving through your port. This, in turn, could drive businesses to seek alternatives outside the Port of Stockton. We respectively ask that you carefully weigh the potential risks of creating a monopoly and consider more balanced solutions that will benefit all stakeholders in the community. Thank you for your time and attention to this important matter. We trust you will make a decision that reflects the best interest of the public and ensures the continued vitality and prosperity of the port and the broader region. One more here. This is from Seaway Towing. The Port of Stockton will be holding a public hearing on Monday, January 27th at 9 a.m., during which proposed revisions to Port's General Tariff 1, Item 1301, tugboat service will be considered and recommended for approval. 1, 10 days' notice is not sufficient time to allow a response in California. 45 days is typically the minimum. 2, 10 days is not enough time to schedule a bollard pull. Does the port have a bollard available for performing the test? A location within the port needs to be identified prior to scheduling this test. 3, March 1st, 2025 is not sufficient time to allow the tug operators the ability to achieve compliance. 4, in regard to the proposed amendment regarding the increase in bollard pull, please explain why the need for an increase. What is the factual basis for the increase? What research investigation did the Commission perform prior to drafting of the amendment that forms a basis for the increase? There is not even a category for 40,000 ahead of the 30 and 30,000 astern. See pilot guidelines. Tug class ratings: minimum bollard pull in pounds, Class A ahead, astern A plus 100,000 at 55,000, A 85, 55, B 60,000, 45,000, C 35,000, 20,000, D 20,000, 10,000. 5, what is the benefit of the bollard pull increase for port operations and for shippers who utilize the port? 6, is the port aware that ships cannot get bigger as there are channel limits and draft constraints on the river? There's only one commodity that employs a Panamax vessel. The Panamax vessels berth at 12 and 13 for coal and utilize 3 tugs because of the size of the river inlet. All other vessels are small, handy-sized vessels, per the pilot's guidelines. Size limitations in general, a narrow channel limits. What's that? 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes? Okay, thank you. That was it for the written comments. Any verbal comments? Okay, feel free. Can you go to the podium? I'm sorry, just so we can get the mic.
And name and address, please.
And then just realize comments are limited to 2 minutes for this as well.
Okay, well then let me start. The Seaway has been up here for about 20 years, and Marine Express has owned them for 17 years or so. Throughout that time.
Sorry, excuse me.
Okay. We'll start your time over.
Okay. So Seaway's been serving the port for north of 20 years, and MEI has owned Seaway for 17. During that time, we've repowered the Marin Sunshine, we've rebuilt her, we've gotten rid of a 1943 single-screw tug, we've employed a twin-screw boat. That boat we have repowered the generators, we have engines en route to be installed, we have new engines for the Marin Sunshine, we have a backup boat being built in Alameda with its Tier 3. I know things aren't happening fast enough for the pilots, but we are at a remote port in Stockton, and things are happening. It's just at a pace that a small company can afford. So we don't want to go away, but we think we're going to come up short with the bollard pulls. And I realize you guys took away some of the exemption exception ruling. The wording would have actually totally wiped us out because we're low use on some of our equipment. There's been years, most years, we're under 300 hours on all our engines. The main engines are always under 300.
1 minute remaining.
So with that said, if Seaway gets knocked out, is the port comfortable with 3 tugs? Or does the port have a plan already to bring in new tractor tugs that we're not aware of? What does the port want to see happen with a supporter like Seaway that's been here for so long? Will you give us time to react to the changes that you guys want? I realize the pilots want what they want, and they're used to bigger, stronger equipment downriver, but we've never had an incident. I'm not aware of a ship crashing up here. I'm not aware of a tug having an incident. I can't find anything in our records where we were involved in an incident with a ship because we didn't have enough power. We used to be challenged a lot with the Golden Arrow moves, and those are done. That's dead. That project's over. That was challenging, and the tugs probably were not strong enough for that, but that service is gone. The pilots have
2
made
minutes.
numerous changes to improve the safety by adding a 3rd tug. We've lost accounts to Brusco because they have the 3rd tug, and that's fine. We took that with what it was, but all the tugs here are providing a service at a safe and steady rate for the ships and the size that come here, incident-free.
Thank you, I appreciate your comments.
Sir, can we have your name, please?
Troy Esch with Seaway Towing.
Thank you.
Hello, Kevin Campbell, Brusco Tug and Barge. Just briefly, I did receive your email, so I wasn't really too caught off guard. We do provide towage in other ports, have the same type of requirements. We work some ports where we're contracted with the port. We work ports where we're contracted with the shipping companies. But with the, there are bollard requirements, tug profile requirements and things like that. So I wasn't caught off guard with this. You know, I will say we've you know, in the last 5-6 years, we've repowered 3 tugs. We bought a tug to cover Stockton. And, you know, I think we're here to meet the needs of our customers, what they need. We do have a couple small Z-Drive tugs that we just built that would fit nicely in Stockton, but we don't have any intentions of bringing them in there right now. So, like I said, we're here just to meet the needs of our shipping customers as we do in other ports. And
1 minute remaining.
whatever the requirements are, you know, we'll do what we can to meet them. Because again, this is kind of a normal standard in most ports to have tug guidelines and requirements. So anyway, I appreciate the time, and I think that's everything I got. Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate your comments.
Hi, I'm Captain Billy Nern. I'm the manager for the Port of Stockton, Port of Sacramento. And I'd like to bring to everybody's attention that Brusco has made substantial investments in boats and adhering to CARB, power. I've been doing ship assist here for 17 years, and we've provided excellent service. The pilots have a great relationship with us. We do things safely and per Coast Guard standards. And with those investments come price hikes. I mean, you're investing $8 million in a tractor tug. It's going to sit there and cost a little bit more. That's just a fact. Down the bay, their rates are 3 times ours. So
1 minute
we're
remaining.
just trying to keep up. And, you know, Stockton is getting busy. That is a fact. You know, that being said, you know, it's coming into the 21st century. Your investments that you're making into the port are going to bring more ships. They're going to need, you know, reliability, and they're going to need trained professional operators. So I think that's something to take into account. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay, we can close, do we even close public comment?
Close the public comment
Okay.
at this point.
Okay, we'll close public comment. And do we open non-agenda or no, do we?
I would go back to staff.
Okay.
For any comment, any response to the comments, and then a staff recommendation. And Mr. Esch did raise both orally and in writing the fact that the proposed regulation might not recognize state and local regulations and exceptions. And Jason might briefly mention that we looked at that, took that comment seriously, and did a minor revision of bullet point 4 to make sure that that's not the case.
Okay.
Mr. Esch commented on recommended language which included potentially not recognizing exemptions or exceptions. And I think Mr. Esch did clarify that he does now see that the recommended language has been struck. So I just want to clarify that. That has been removed from the proposed language, and it no longer exists. Staff recommendation? Staff recommendations to the Port Director are to approve language adjustments to General Tariff Number 1, Item 1301, tugboat service. Upon approval by the Port Director, staff will submit the proposed adjustments to the California Association of Port Authorities to secure approval. Upon confirmation of CAPA approval, staff will amend General Tariff Number 1 to reflect changes with an effective date of March 1, 2025, inclusive of the 30-day public notice period.
Okay, decision on this, or do we go to non-agenda? Do we close this out?
You can then go to non-agenda items,
Okay.
and then, no, you need to finish
Okay.
this. You need to make your decision here, then go to non-agenda item
Gotcha.
public comments.
Okay.
And adjourn.
Okay, so based on the modified language, we're going to approve the language adjustment to item 1301, tugboat service in the general tariff 1.
Thank you.
Okay. Public comments on non-agenda items. We didn't have anything sent in. Okay. Okay, any other questions or anything? Okay, we'll adjourn. Thank you.